So 2020 has been the year of people trying to speak things into existence. What I mean by that is like they have a vision in terms of how they see the world or how they see a thing. And no matter what the actual reality is, they will go to the grave suggesting that something is different from what it actually is, just for the sake of trying to come out or maybe be right, or maybe just because they don't want to get caught with egg on their face. We've seen this with COVID. We've seen this with these concepts of racism and all of homophobia, blah, 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 phobias, isms, and all of this, where people say that things are not what they are. And we saw this with sports, with the NBA, where people just are not coming to terms with the fact that the politics, the social politics, has a lot to do with the lack of ratings. And we can read this right here. Darren Rovell is a business of sports betting, sports business reporter, and senior executive producer of Action News Network, or Action Network, headquarters. And he is saying, much like some of the others, that, well, no, it's not the race thing or it's not the whole social justice aspect of the game that hindered the viewership. It's other things. So what he says is NBA Finals ratings being at an all-time low is due to the fact that NBA Finals game without a crowd is not a great product, which it's not. Combine that with the increased cord cutting, and even more options. The NBA's position on politics and race has very little to do with it. So this sounds like a guy that's completely oblivious to the problem, or, like I mentioned before, he just doesn't want to come to terms with it, like a lot of people that are still watching the NBA are. You see, right now, people can get away with it. And who knows? The NBA may bounce back, maybe once they drop this garbage, or, I don't know, if people can't hold out for that long and they feel like, man, I got to have my fix of this sport, which it is a beautiful sport. I say this is a huge sports guy, and this is the first year where I just don't really care for it. As much because of that. And then, you guys see me wear Mavericks gear almost in every video. I'm a huge sports guy. And it's just, I don't want to see that. A lot of reasons why I watch sport is to escape from all of this hogwash that we deal with in the real world. I don't want to be around that. That's specifically why it's beautiful, because you can go to an actual game. You can watch a game at your bro's house or wherever, sports restaurant or bar, whatever. And it doesn't matter what the politics are of the individuals, the social positions of the individuals. It doesn't matter at all, because at that given moment, we're all focused on this one thing. Now, when it comes to the NBA now, you're seeing, when it came out swinging, commercials, post-game interviews talking about everything, politics and social issues. So on the jerseys, it's everywhere. You can't get away from it if you're watching this. If I am one of those individuals that gets away from that or uses this as a form of escapism, why would I want to watch your product? But going back to the point that I was mentioning, maybe they can get away with this now. But what's going to end up happening is because, and the reason why collective bargaining agreements, all of that stuff, that was done beforehand. TV deals. Once it's time to renew said deals, and the players don't see that increase, or maybe they even see a decrease. Who knows how bad it actually is? We just know this is unprecedented. Who knows about how bad it actually is? But if it continues down this route, and then we go into the next, when the time of these renewals and all this, and then the players' salaries are impacted at that point by it, because right now they're not. I think what they'll do is probably blame the owners and stuff. But you're seeing people checking out of this. If anything, with COVID related, you're seeing that when it comes to Hollywood, and maybe both of them are going to get a pay cut. Maybe sports guys and Hollywood is going to get a pay cut. Or they won't see the exponential growth in in funds, let's say that. Because a lot of folks are seeing that they can do without them. But to see someone say something like this and to act as if, well, no, it's all of these other issues, right? It's that it doesn't produce a good product. And look, you also have to take into consideration everybody's home now. So if anything, people will be watching these in great numbers, but they're not. They're checking out. You've forced people into not moving. So why I understand you can grasp for straws, and no, maybe this isn't the only thing that's attributing to it. But to act like because what he says, he has very little to do with it. I don't see how he can come to terms with that when so many people talk about just that. We just don't have a desire to watch that. And then it's funny. I know that I was watching or reading, I forget what agency took the poll. Right, and you can see that most of the fans of the NBA were, for the most part, supportive of these social causes, and they were leftists. And it's like, so they're basically yelling in the echo chamber, and they're basically alienating the fans that are on different sides of whatever social or political issue that there is. So when you look at that, and then you look at the ratings. The fact that you can say that there's very little to do with it, I just don't understand that. We got folks like myself and super fans that are like, nah, bro, I'm going to sit this one out. Till y'all get y'all act together, I'm going to sit it out. And if y'all choose to never get y'all act together, fine. And you get the leftists, going back to the original point that I was making, who are still supportive of this. They don't understand how money works. They don't understand how viewership works and how that impacts virtually every body's paycheck in some way, shape, or form. And they say, yeah, go ahead, don't watch it. This goes to show that these guys are trying to make social statements. So if that's what they want to make, bet. But once it does not work out the way they think it does, don't go blaming the owners and don't go blaming for like withholding money or anything like that, because what's going to happen is if it keeps on this road, when it comes to renewing some of these deals, these marketing deals and all of that, which impacts the players' salaries, and the players don't be seeing a growth, right? Free agents come by, it's time to renew, and that ceiling is either where it was already at or, God forbid, it went down. That's when people are going to start. Maybe they make the adjustment then. But look, dudes, you can't be alienating fans like that. Definitely of an established sport. It'd be one thing if y'all was starting a new league of I don't know, the Social Justice Basketball Association. Then, all right, whatever. We know how that was from the get-go. But to sit up here and just plaster this everywhere, people can't even get away from it. And you think that's going to work to your benefit? Of course not. But I'm seeing more and more of this, of these guys who are still fans, or more so they were like, well, it's fine. I can just speak this into existence. Man, they're in for a rude awakening. They have to make an adjustment. And maybe they will. They should. And then the people that were alienated will come back to the sport and watch it. But to act as if that has nothing or little to do with it, it's just an oblivious statement.